But what I didn't know is that I'm going to give you two names, Denny Jones and Larry Campbell. Both are legitimate heavyweight Republicans. And I'm not going to tell you the story I've told before here about the late Denny Jones, 1,000 acres. I can't even imagine 1,000 acre cattle rancher, Republican, thin as a rail, lived well beyond 100 years. And Vera Katz, who I don't think ever owned a car, I'm not sure she had a driver's license. She lived in the apartment in downtown Portland, came out from New York City, the ultimate urbanite, Portlandite. I don't know how they did it, but those two were truly brothers and sisters. I am telling you, they took care of each other. They never asked the other to explain a vote, to justify a vote, often when they were voting against each other, but they had each other's back. And I mean it, day in, day out, even when they vote against each other. If I ever said anything critical of Denny, here comes Vera. And if anybody even said critical of Vera, here comes Denny. So here comes, they just took care of each other. They taught me that you truly have to think of more than just, it's going to get me in trouble, but my enemies will love it, just your own districts. You have to be able to get into the shoes of someone who comes from a much different place than you do. They did it day in and day out, day in and day out. I think that framed my view that I'm often criticized for, that if at all possible, see if you can't get a combination of votes, although we're often forced into positions we can't. Is soon afterwards you need to get back to trying to put yourself in the other person's shoes. The next thing, and then I'll stop, Larry Campbell. The Democrats have been in control forever until the famous 1990 election, and the Republicans took the House. And now Vera Katz had been elected 3 straight times as Speaker. She had their record at that time. And therefore, she would no longer be a Speaker. And for some reason, I ended up being the caucus leader. That never made sense, but I ended up being the caucus leader. I remember Vera sitting very close to me, and I often thought she did it to make sure I knew what I was doing. But she never said a word to me. But what she did do is remarkable. She joined with Larry Campbell and helped pass a major piece of children's legislation. She and Larry, the then Speaker, former Speaker, they got together and did that. Now, when an individual can have that kind of defeat and come out of it that way, that is an extraordinary statement about good sportsmanship, but about the kind of human being they are. And she did it. She and Larry were just like that on children's issue. Immense respect for each other, and we benefited as a state of Oregon. And those are things I will never forget about Vera Katz. And I'll tell you, that kind of personality comes along only once in a lifetime, the ability to truly think of someone totally different than you, a different culture, a different background, and make sure that you try to get in their shoes. So I hadn't seen Vera for many, many years. I'm sorry she was not well at the end. That made me very, very sad. Remarkable person, remarkable contribution to the people of this great state. So yes, I miss Vera Katz. The clerk will read the bill.